Hello, friends, and welcome back to Lumastic Live, the live show on Friday mornings where we spend a little bit of time in the morning, me and my co-host and fellow founder of Ripple, Joshua Belair, to talk about all things happening as we try to kind of build this company and build this kind of like co-working space on the internet, and talk about what's going on with the creator economy and creator business. So, welcome back, Joshua. Joshua, how was your
Hello.
week?
It was good. It was a good week. Actually, this is a funny update from last week, but I went and bought Chris Anderson and Sal Khan's books just to like dive into it and hear their perspective from
Cool.
like my tangent last week, the first thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started reading those. They're pretty cool.
Nice.
So
And then you have
reading.
fodder. You have fodder to like ping the shit out of them on, on like Twitter and Instagram to be like, I've read everything you've written.
Yeah, go back to the original Ripple days when it was just like,
When it
please
was just
become a live
fire.
speaker. But yeah, so there was that, and then the huge rash that appeared from the Moderna vaccine,
Yeah. Tell
which
the
was
people about this. I mean, don't tell it in a way that like makes people not want to get the
yeah.
vaccine.
They,
But
so no, no, no. It's so I looked it up. I just am going to double check. So apparently from Moderna you get this rash. And first of all, like if there's anyone skeptical, like mRNA vaccines are way better than normal vaccines that we give. It just makes the protein. It's not a less old vaccines are just less deadly, like variants or like muted versions of the virus. But mRNA is literally just telling your body to make a protein. So way safer. Go get the vaccine. But
I'm glad we can do the
regardless,
Lord's work here on
yeah,
Lumastic
yeah,
Live. Spread the
yeah,
gospel.
yeah.
Please go
It's
get the vaccine if you can.
mRNA vaccines are like it was a blessing at the time it came out. Like they're literally great. But I have a huge rash. In my on my left arm, yeah, just like it appeared one day and I was like, whoa. And then it was still appeared. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just to be safe. uh, I'm just gonna deficiency problem. So I want to make
Mm,
sure that like she reacted really poorly to Pfizer. So like I just want to make sure my I didn't get that side of the family's genes.
gotcha. Whoa, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Um,
yeah,
well, yeah. Good luck at your doctor's appointment, and I hope everything is like okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But how was your week?
it was good. We on Monday had kind of like a big so right over the past couple of weeks we've been delving into prototype mock-upping, talking to creators, and just like making sure that what we're um that right, like what we talked about last week, that we don't jump headfirst into just development for development's sake, because we can, right, because we have 3 developers on the team and like why not. We want to make sure that we're like doing something that's actually scoped to solve the problem that we're trying to solve, and like is something that we can ship easily. And I've been really inspired. Like I mentioned this last week, that I've been delving into like Jason Fried and Nathan Barry, like these like I don't know, like great product engineers, right? And what Jason and Basecamp, they kind of work off of, is this like technique they invented called shape up, which is basically like, hey, you have an idea and like you iterate it with like fat marker sketches, and then you like build whatever you can in 6 weeks so that that product actually exists now, and then you can iterate off of something that is actually working in the field. So he actually says like, don't do any clickable prototypes or whatever at all. Like they're useless essentially, because they don't actually give people the feel of walking through your app and like actually getting to use it. It just like shows you the look of it, and that's not important at all. So super interesting. And so we had a meeting on Monday where we basically did that kind of shape up technique, and we're like, okay, what are the scopes of this project and what can we ship in 6 weeks? And so this has been our first week of that like development cycle, and we're like fucking jamming, if I do say so myself. Like what's so amazing um is the architecture that like Keith, our CTO, has built, is kind of like so robust in terms of what we can do from kind of a project management perspective, that we really like there's nothing entirely new, and I think I've talked about this before. There's like nothing entirely new about what this next iteration is. It's mostly just like repackaging to make the stuff that we've built way easier to use. And so it's like super exciting. I like Sarah and I like sit in the room, and then we like make something happen, and we're like, oh my god, like it feels so good, all that stuff. Some fun things like I spent like an hour yesterday just like kind of rewriting the way our color engine works. And so you'll be able to like select your own like base color. So that like Lumastic can really be yours. That's something that was kind of like that design methodology of speed, focus, collaboration, and control are like our four like pillars here. And so in control, I was like, this won't take me any time at all because it's just a variable. And for a creator to basically be able to make their space, their tools, theirs I think goes a long way. Yeah, so there's just like cool shit going on, and like that's been the week. I have like not really talked to anyone in a while. I've been like, I'm gonna write a blog post about this called like going dark, about like why I do that, and it's basically because my brain works like this, and so if I have any stimulus outside of like the focused thing that I'm trying to do, it like derails me entirely, and then I don't get anything done, and I go to the team with like a bajillion new ideas, and it derails the entire team, and it's just like not a good look, and it's not a good workflow. And so my going dark is like, okay, we are doing, I'm not gonna like not talk to anybody for 6 weeks, but it's just like, okay, this week we are really focused on building the infrastructure that allows us to build the kind of the rest of the app. So like, let's do that. And yeah, so that's been the week. This again was such a longer answer than you asked for, Joshua.
I was gonna ask. So do you have like, I know 2 weeks ago you were doing creator outreach. Is that like over? Or do you make a schedule with that, like with the going dark weeks?
Yeah, it's not like talking to our customers is going to be like a thing we do all the time. It's just that like we don't have anything new to show them yet. Okay. Right? Yeah. Right. We're trying to be really respectful of people's time. And like, sure, it might feel nice to us to like constantly be getting validation, like, yes, please build this, but like, it's not helpful for the relationship, right? Because we always want to be adding value. There is a creator that I messaged in like the beginning of our outreach, and I was like, hey, we're doing this thing. His name is Anthony. He was the president of the Internet Creators Guild, which was like an essentially like a union for online creators that started back in 2016 and ended in 2018 because there were some weird cash flow problems and it just like wasn't working out. But I DM'd him on Instagram saying like, hey, I want to talk to you, without like being specifically clear about what I wanted to talk to him about. And so he sent me a reply that was like, here's my email. If you have any specific, he was like, I'm kind of busy. Here's my email if you have any specific questions. And so that was like a cue to me of like, oh yeah, like that was kind of like a dick move to just like be like, please talk to me. Without like, hey, I know your work. I want your opinion on this specific thing about what we're doing. And so this week, with that post I put out on like platform cooperatives, I sent him a message. I sent him an email that was just like, wanted to wait until I had something specific to ask you, but like your essentially experience running the ICG would be really helpful in terms of me thinking about this like whole new model of like how we build platforms on the internet. So like want to get your thoughts and opinions. Here's the blog post I wrote for more context. So like that's much more specific of a thing to communicate rather than us just constantly communicating. So like the next time I go back to Charlie is going to be when I'm like, hey, we're like, here it is, right? Like, here's the thing that like I showed you before as a clickable prototype, and now you can like actually use it. Here's a code to sign up, right?
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. There might be like an in between period because she has like a WhatsApp group full of like other creators in design, like YouTube design. They call them the YouTube design gals. I don't know if I'm allowed to share that publicly, but I think it's
We'll
a
just
fun
censor
name.
it out.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh my gosh, I watched Matt Diavella's latest video where he like took that sample of his dad sneezing to like make a beat. I don't know if you saw this video, but I was like, I
I
want to
haven't.
do that. That'd be a great like censor sound. It's just like the white dad like.
That would be. That would be. I think also would be really funny is there's so many funny moments as I'm going back through these Lumastic lives of just like to the moon or like you know what
To
I
the
mean?
moon.
Like Joshua, where did you go? Like when I lost connection. Like having those as like bleeps or like little moments definitely will
Yeah.
have my like episode 10 like a good catalog of
Exactly. Like I'll get
things
one of
to
those
use.
switchboards. I'll get one of those switchboards like the H3 podcast has, and then we can like play the sound effects.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Shit. Where was I?
So you were talking about let me last thing I was specific like going with a specific answer to people.
Yeah. Specific asks to
Yeah.
people. Yeah, and so that's
Specific
why like
ask, yeah.
yeah the going dark it's like the divergence and convergence step, right, in like creative problem solving. It's like we were like gathering information and now we're converging, right? And so we're going to take some time, basically as much time as we took to diverge, which was like 4 weeks, right? We're going to converge and then we're going to go back out, right? And like that's kind of the cycle we can take, and it's just really important. I've learned it's incredibly important, especially with like like a team like ours where like we're not all full time. It's like me and Sarah are full time devs, but Keith can only work like nights and weekends, and like Chelsea is like kind of our partner at a marketing agency, and so she has other stuff to do. It's like really important, I've realized, to like let's pick the path and let us go do the path, right? Rather than like pick the path, go do the path, and then like while everyone is trying to walk, I'm like, wait, like like look, someone talk to me about this thing. Like maybe we should go do that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's really important that we like I especially like stay course and let's move forward, right? Yeah, so that's the lesson learned here.
I think that's really like funny point. When I was doing my work at Arena Labs, like my initial just experience is I created a mock-up, like you said, like the prototype wireframe.
Mm-hmm.
You give it to people, but once it was like 4 weeks after, it was only working on like that, trying to actually make that prototype.
Mm-hmm.
And the user interviews were so different between the two.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it is important to have that, like, here's the actual website, or just even like a scrappier version, and just watch people interact with it, and then see where it goes. Because that, I would obviously, like, from just that experience, showing the actual thing gave way better user interview feedback. And yeah, I was just that was one experience recently, and you bringing that up made me think back to that. And it was because also there's like with prototypes, like people can be like, we're going to do this and then do that, and then we can put this in and then that, and then everyone's like, whoa, slow down. I'm sure like maybe Keith is like, whoa, I'm working nights and weekends.
No, exactly.
Yeah. And
it's like what can we scope to get done now, right? And you're entirely correct. Like, and it's because with a design mock-up and even like whiteboard sketching and all these things, it is way easier to add shit. Like, like it's so easy to just be like, oh, we'll just like add this entire feature into the mock-up, because doing that takes me 4 hours, whereas like actually writing it out will take us like 3 months, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just like it's scaling back. It's like that whole quote of perfection is like when there's nothing left to remove. Like I find that so powerful. I don't believe perfection exists, but like if we take the limit as as product approaches perfection, right? I think that that's
Yeah.
really true. It's really about the remove. What can you take away? What is like the simplest, most bare bones thing you can do to make this work? And it goes back to like I just literally watched this Matt Diavella video like an hour ago. That's why it's on my mind. But he it was like a let me walk you through my productivity process. And he doesn't use any fancy tools and all these things. He uses like the most simple fucking to-do list system. He uses Apple Notes, Google Drive for storing documents and files, and then he uses Google Calendar. And he's like in all of these apps all day.
Wow.
And he literally sets up all his notes to be hyper projectory. It's like everything we knew talking to creators and like delving into a lot of those videos. Like Sarah Dietschy has one similar that I think I talked about where she's like going through how her Notion works, and it's like exactly like the same system, right? And yeah, it's just really interesting. And so that that idea of let's build something really simple that just solves this problem, right? Like for like the Minute Earth crew, the thing I'm like constantly beating the drum on is like we are by far not going to be able to compete at first glance with like the way that they're using Google Docs for scripting and commenting, whatever. But what we definitely can compete with is getting them out of that convoluted, insane spreadsheet that they use to manage the projects, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so like that's step one. And so let's scope for that and make that really, really great and feel great and like build something that's like polished and nice to use, and just like solves the problem,
Yeah.
and something that we want to use, right? Like that's another core piece of this too, is like I'm really I'm really excited to not have to use text edit anymore.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I feel like even myself, I'm using the Notes app and like basic just docs for everything. It gets all over the place. But I had a follow-up question. So in the process of trying to like put, I guess, features and tiers for your like MVP generation, like what was that like for you at Lumastic? Because I know we like in the past Lumastic Lives we talked about a lot, like how cool it would be after these episodes to just have a one system that like shoots it out to all like social medias, or
Yeah.
take almost Slack messages and make it a to-do, or like at Minute Earth they had that you said they were creating a Slack channel every single time they were working on a new video, which is just insane. And then there's also the Notes, Google Drive, and like Calendar like combo thing.
Yeah,
that was a perfect description I just said. But anyway, so from all of those, where does Lumastic like put it in tiers in terms of like what's the first MVP going to include?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first baseline MVP is going to be like really similar to what we've got now. So you've got an ability to make a project. That project can contains boards, which like are those dynamic documents, and as a part of that project you can like post updates to people, your collaborators working on that with you, or your community. So the people that are we haven't figured this out entirely, but for right now it's just going to be the same system that we've built so far, which is that following mechanic. And yeah, the one addition that we're making, that's again based on like the current usage, and also like to solve kind of a problem that creators were telling us that they experience too at like scale, is this idea of we're adding this feature called My Desk, which is actually now going to be the homepage of the app. And basically what your desk is like your projects at a glance. So like you can quickly just like get back to work. But also we have this thing we're calling captures, which is like, I just need to write this down, right? Like I have an idea and I just need to like get it somewhere and store it away. And so that's like captures. So it's basically creating cards that aren't on a board. They're not attached to a project. They're just like, sitting there waiting for you to either flesh them out to turn them into a project, or just to like capture them for later, whatever that is to you. Yeah, and another fun thing is, so you know how like people have been making like sparks for themselves. So like mine is called like Drew Daily, Danya's is called like Danya Does, Chelsea's is like Chelsea Today. Like like there was this notion of like, hey, I want to post things to the community, or just like have like some way of interacting with people, but I don't necessarily have it attached to a project. Like I just want to ask a random question, right? And that's like a co-working space idea too. It's like you're not necessarily walking up to somebody to talk about a project. You could be like, hey, I saw this I saw this thing, like what do you guys think about this? And so you can you're going to be able to make posts from your desk. So like you'll be able to say like from the desk of Joshua, right? Like or something like that. So rather than having to create a spark or like a project for you, which is like kind of confusing, it's like, oh, you like people just want to be able to post an update like just unattached exactly to a project, but just from like themselves. And so that's like this feature of like my desk. And it's also so that when I always use terminology that's like as if we're a co-working space, because we're a digital co-working space, but you're not sorry, I'm like my brain's like moving too fast or too weird.
That's a sound effect.
Yeah. So the reason like my desk is the homepage is because like in a co-working space, right? The hub, the place where you're interacting with people, like that kind of community aspect, is kind of the thing you do when you take a coffee break or you go to the water cooler or all these things. It's like the old adage of like, come for the tools, stay for the community, right? Tools are first, right? And so my desk is the place that, okay, cool, I can focus, I can get to work, right? I can go see my projects, I can post an update to the team, I can capture a new idea, like all these things, right from kind of that homepage screen. And then when I want to take a break, when I want to see what other people are working on, when I want to get that kind of like inspiration sort of thing, that's when I go to the hub. Yeah, so that's kind of like I guess that's it. Chelsea, you can tell me in the chat if I've missed anything, but yeah, that's like core MVP. We're still working on this like files integration with Starchive. Again, going dark, that's kind of like the hard part of that is we had a meeting with them like 2 weeks ago, and we were like both really excited, and then it's just like everyone starts doing other stuff and whatever, so it's been hard to put that in the scope for this release. So we're probably going to push that on, which also gives Keith a lot more time to like figure out integration with the API, and like us even as two companies to figure out this collaboration and like how we figure out like compensation and all these things. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Chelsea, please let me know if I missed anything. Yeah, that's a good summary. Okay, cool.
I think this is last point I'll make before we transition to like reviewing Bubble House. But
yeah,
the like the whole idea of having like all your projects in a snapshot, I think like organizing it in files is really annoying. But the really funny thing is the time I was most productive with like managing, I guess, all projects, or like a tool that I used that ended up doing that was just actually at home, this whiteboard thing. If you can kind of see, there's lists, but like each one would be like school, arena labs and stuff like that. And just having that as like a visual, like I like seeing it all kind of like spread out rather than that drop down. I hate the way Finder just like has, I don't know, I just don't like the folder. I know you can change it, but it's still just, it gives me, it's not the same. Like I would like logging into something that's like my desk, or like seeing it all at once. And just staying in that location, because I only go there if I like have to pull up a file or drive.
Wait, and this reminds me of like a feature that is in this scope, which is like you can like pin stuff to your desk. So like from all of your projects, if you have like a task list in each one, or if you have like a central like place that you're trying to keep track of tasks or files or whatever, you can like pin them to your desk so that you can have like literally that is like your space to like organize yourself the way you want. Yeah. So that's just really interesting that you said that, because it was something I had forgotten, but I feel it is very similar, and it's like super similar to how I work today, which is literally like I just like keep sticky notes all over my fucking desk of like stuff I'm working on. So yeah, again, it's like very exciting to build something for yourself, and also when you realize that like the way you work is not crazy because other people do it that way, right? And it's like we all deserve a better system than sticky notes and like random like whiteboard sketches and that stuff. Like we deserve a better way to work. So yeah, it's cool to be able to build tools that kind of solve that problem for people. All right, you want to talk about Bubble House?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Okay, do you want to give us a little background here?
So I think it might be good for us to I'll give the background from what I saw. So as I was managing the Lumastic TikTok, I get on the For You
at
page,
Lumastic TikTok on TikTok at Lumastic
TikTok at Lumastic TikTok. Posted one yesterday. It's very funny, but I had to censor some stuff, and I think they shadow banned it. And yeah, so I'm just a little bit salty at the algorithm. But let's talk about other stuff.
Let's talk about algorithms. Let's talk.
Yeah. So I was on there, and this account popped up, Bubble House, and I think it's the CEO who runs it. And the snapshot they were giving was that, or the message, like every single TikTok, the thing that's communicated is like Instagram's not really supporting creators anymore. The algorithm doesn't really support creators for like what they actually do, which is making things at heart. And so they went out and made this platform called Bubble House. And the gist I got from it, and I'm curious what you thought, Drew, because I was looking a lot at how they told their story on TikTok.
Yeah.
Is that it reminds me of Autodesk Fusion to some extent, like that scroll feature, in the sense that like it shows you, for those who aren't familiar with Autodesk Fusion, it's a CAD software, but like let's say it's a like 3D designs. So like let's say you build a block, that will be it'll show on your bottom bar that block is there, and let's say you make another block, it'll show you the version iterations. So like from going to that block to like an amazing structure, you can like scroll through and see your progress. So like from block to amazing structure, and you can see like the different versions. So it has this, and you can see the animation as they're scrolling through. It's like the grayed out version. I think it's going to cycle through. Right. Yeah, it'll pop up. I think it's going to, but yeah, there it is. Right, that animation. So it kind of shows you like the full thing, and then the rest are like very similar features, like the whole likes, comments, and the thing that they're saying is that they'll make the algorithm more suited for creators to get more creator engagement, which is really good. But the thing that I found just really interesting from looking at this platform and even others that are just slowly starting to pop up is that the fact people are doing this just shows how much of a problem it is now. And I think there is a huge rise in it. And I'm sure, Drew, you're about to spit fire in like a minute. So, yeah.
My hot takes are coming in.
This is just me being like, this is Bubble House, like reporting it like a newscaster, and Drew's going, let me tell you what the fuck is wrong with this one.
No. I'm not. I'm gonna try to hold back from kind of like being hypercritical, because I don't know these people. They could be like super nice, and like the CEO seems really young. Like I say that as somebody who is relatively really young. Like my initial reaction is I think it is cool from a technical perspective that they have like built this thing. Like it is obviously taken a lot of like work and time, and like they obviously know enough about the way that different creators want to share their work to like make stuff like this. Like the here, can I click on this to go back? Yeah, like the before and after thing, really cool. Like really great concept. I'm not entirely sure how like in terms of like lining up the pictures and stuff, like if that's something that they're doing, because that's an even more cool and awesome. But and the fact that like it's kind of also if I scroll down a little, I think it's designed to kind of like be like a portfolio place, I guess. It's like kind of like a social media portfolio for artists. It's like, yeah, like super fun and interesting. But that's again like where it stops for me. It's like it's very interesting. And like I filled out the thing, I sign up, I get their emails. Like I want them to succeed. It just feels there's this whole classification of like startups that come up that, and we've talked about this before, that like kind of do a Me Too sort of thing, and they do a Me Too to a big company, and they get like some initial traction or whatever, and then they get acqui-hired. So they get like some cash, and then they get a job. And I'm not trying to say that they are doing this. I'm saying that my fear is that this is one of those. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it then irks me when all of the messaging is like, we're here for like we're here for creators, right? Like we're here to like build spaces for you and all these things, when in reality it's like a bunch of people who can code really beautiful apps and like design really cool stuff that are kind of like trying to quick bucket. And again, this is me coming at it with not a lot of information. Like I only know what they've posted on TikTok and what's on their website.
And I think I really like their TikToks a lot. I thought they were really like I think the messaging is it's coming obviously from a personal problem. I'm sure that's the messaging I got, just like Lumastic, Ripple, all these platforms are. The thing that I think would be cool for us to talk about is I don't think people are looking as much, and I don't know, I could be making an ignorant statement here, but like as much in how to switch the business. Like people aren't looking it's really good to make a tool for creators, but you're not going to make it ultimately for creators if you don't switch up their business model, because like the whole advertisement space is,
and that's what I'm saying, it's a Me Too of features, right? Like it's a Me Too of, hey, this is Instagram, but with like features that are more aligned with artists, right?
Yeah.
And like that feels cool. And like the TikTok messaging of like, hey, let's build this not as like place to show off like how good your butt looks in a bikini, which is like kind of Instagram's bread and at least on my feed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
Sarah
yeah. But transition it to like, hey, how do I show off my artwork? How do I show off show off the process of me getting to creating that cool photo? Right? Like that's kind of what this is supposed to be, which I enjoy, right? It's just I don't think that it again, this is like me just such nitpicking and like being such an asshole, because they're trying. Like I want to promote these people. They're like doing like good, like they're trying to make stuff for creators that focuses on creators, which I want more of. I'm just being hypercritical because I feel like there's just one piece here that is like unacknowledged, which is like hyper important, which is like the business model is what made Instagram bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the entire reliance, the entire not having a business model is what made Instagram bad. And so then like you just slap on ads and you become an advertising company, and now literally on the bottom bar of Instagram there's a shopping tab, right? Like, and so without answering that question almost first, right? Like, how are we going to build a sustainable company that allows creators to showcase their work with cool features, right? How are we going to build really great portfolio, website, app, whatever? How are we going to build Dribble for artists, right? Like, and you could make the case that Dribble is for artists, but like Dribble not for graphic artists, but for sculptors and painters and like, right, all that stuff, which I feel like is a direction that they can go in. It's just that because they have chosen the like we are a social media tool for small. I don't understand that part, but
Yeah.
yeah, it just seems like it's not entirely thought through. And again, I am being so nitpicky and and I will say, I will say this too. I'm planning on writing a blog post about this. I had no business model when we started Lumastic, like first version, where it was Wikipedia for online courses, because I didn't care, right? It was like, I just want a place where I can get my work and collaborate with other educational creators to like build this cool space for us to learn on the internet, right? Like, because YouTube is not designed for learning, right? And so what if
Yeah.
there was a place to showcase our content in a collaborative environment that helped people learn from it, right? And spark conversations and all these things, right? But again, I've made this mistake. That's what I'm trying to say, because without a business model, there was a lot of resistance from other creators, because they when I would say things they're like, how do you make money? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
That's not one. It can be triggering of like, okay, well, are you going to run ads? And I would always say no, because I think ads have fucked the internet. But then the second question is like, well, then this isn't serious, right? This isn't going to be like a real way that I can stake my business on, which is what creators are doing. Like, I'm staking my business on this platform, and saying like, this is a place that I can use. This is a tool I can use and grow with for a long time. And
Yeah.
if you don't have that, then you're like you're making a big mistake. And so like, that's if like the Bubble House people ever watch this. I am planning on being part of your beta, so like I'm trying to be supportive here. But that question needs to be answered super now, because like, and again, that is a different company, right? Because that's what makes me feel like I worry that this is one of those startups that's just trying to get big and acqui-hired, right? Because again, you can like
Yeah.
feel a lot of validation, you can spend money to get validation, but it like, you're not going to help a small creator like actually build their business on this thing if that's the plan. And
I
that's what
think
makes me upset.
I feel like, so I have also maybe a theory that like, so one thing I'll say right off the bat, I think it does their like TikTok marketing, comparing it to like the new Instagram can hurt
Hmm.
them, in those ways. Like I think,
Yeah.
um, from a glance, that has a lot of really cool. I would say like, it has a lot of great potential to become a really cool portfolio based area, which I think
Exactly.
is a really good place for creators, because I was looking at it. And so when you go to like the profiles of the about, you have like your boards that, which is kind of like a Pinterest-esque area, like if you scroll down. Also at the
Yep.
bottom bar, they have like an explore page, but also this idea of an inbox. So like I think if they go down the direction of like, this is going to be a place for artists, like you said, like the Dribble for certain locations, this is going to be a
Hmm.
place where you can work and like get business, like get business, get your art out there at the same time and be that place. I think it's really cool. And if they could make like really creator focused features that would just like help them showcase their work and
Yeah.
also showcase their progress, and yeah, almost like have one out to community and stuff like that. So I think
Yeah.
like the design of the app, honestly, if I didn't see the TikTok, I might have thought they were going to go down a more Dribble route. The only thing that
Right.
changes it for me is because like the profiles are very like, they are using terms like boards, your box. The only thing that kind of makes it think that it could go the social media route is that the exact bottom of it was is kind of designed like the old Instagram. And so
Yeah.
that's like, it's like
And
where is it going to
and
go?
this right?
Yeah, the
Me-
like, yeah,
yeah, you measure what matters, and if you're trying to show people that like what matters is likes, comments, all these things, it's no longer a portfolio site, right? It's a game. It's a game
yeah.
to get the highest number. And there's
So
nothing
I have a
wrong.
question.
There's oh, sorry, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, what do you think those metrics should? Do you think those metrics in like the apps of the future will be just taken out, or like for a portfolio for creators? What do you think are like good metrics to show, or even if we should show metrics?
Yeah, I think that we're kind of seeing. Um, so the metrics are like the thing, are one of the keystone pieces that has caused like this psychology of everyone that using social media to like get all like weirdly fucked up, and it's like the thing that drives like this dopamine hit and behavior and all these things. So, like we're seeing like I think Instagram like beta tested removing likes, yeah, YouTube, god damn it, YouTube recently like beta tested getting rid of dislikes,
Yeah,
and creators hated it. They're like people were really fucking mad because like that's the only, if you keep likes but you get rid of dislikes, then there's no longer any way to tell what the majority of people thought, right? Like it's no longer a way for the community to police itself. It's just a
yeah,
way of like smash the like button, right? Like, so that was ridiculous because if they really wanted, if it was really for like creator, like they packaged this all as like this is like for creator health and like to prevent bullying and all this. Well, get rid of both, right?
yeah,
Like don't show a metric, right? Same thing with like view count, all these things. But again, like that is important to YouTube, and it's important to Instagram, and it's important to Twitter, because the whole point of the platform is like for this gamification of interactivity. And so like for this, if, because again, right now, from what is like presented to me on screen, is like this is a social media tool, right? This is Instagram killer. This is like, right, that's what they're trying to go for. I don't think that that's the way that they will find works best. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're looking at the next like whatever. But in my opinion, if they doubled down on like, hey, this is like a mobile portfolio, right? Like this is a way of you showing process, like to get clients, like all these things, then you don't need likes, you don't need comments, or you don't need to display the number, right? And like you don't really need likes at all.
yeah.
And it then it's less of a social space and more of like I'm gonna send my Bubble House link. Also, I don't understand that name a lot. I feel like it's a Clubhouse copy. And again, these are the things that like I want this to be. I want. I'm trying to be optimistic that I want them to be like doing good things. It's just that like all of the data in my brain is like worried this is cash grab acquihire startup. And but again, I could be totally wrong, and if these people are listening and I'm wrong, please tell me. If anyone
Yeah.
with more information than me knows, then please tell me, because I want to be supportive of people working in this ecosystem. It's just I am worried. Sorry, I got derailed.
Hon-
What was I talking about?
No, honestly, I think maybe try to get a spotlight out of this. I don't think they have a
Yeah,
huge following, but like it'd be really cool to have this conversation.
yeah,
But
exactly, and to talk kind of about, yeah. So, people from Bubble House, if if you're watching this, definitely want to talk to you. Want to have a conversation about like how we create supportive ecosystems for creators. Oh my God, Chelsea is popping off in the chat. But yeah, like we want to have that conversation because it's like vitally important as like, right, this is the whole, I want to write a blog post about this too, this whole mentality of like a collaborative ecosystem, like collaborative, not competitive, and how like I feel like
yeah,
that's the future way that we help shape like business, so that it's less who can get a monopoly enough to like go have to be deposed by Congress, right? Like how is that our gold star, right? Like that's currently
Yeah.
right. That's it. Like Peter Thiel, I think you're a smart guy, but I think you're wrong about this idea of like being a monopoly. I think that are ways of like having people in the space working together to solve the same problem. I see Bubble House as like potentially a great partner, like collaborator in the creator ecosystem to like help creators showcase their work. I just don't understand. I don't understand the why yet, and that goes into what Chelsea's talking about with like have all sorts of questions about algorithm and core values. Yeah, she's talking about how metrics aren't really like a useful thing on social media. Yeah, cool feature. Could they pin top 5 creators as like a CV, right? Like as a way to still help small creators. It's like, hey, look at these people that are starting out, don't have like a lot of like clients, way of monetization, like audience, whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know. There are ways that this can be great. I just don't see the social media route as that route. But again, I am one
Yeah.
person. I am not an expert. That's just my thoughts and feelings.
I think the portfolio route would be cool, but the thing that actually stood out to me is that one thing I really love is when creators do, and this will probably have to be another Lumastic Live, the workflow talk, but like laying
Mm,
it out, like that's why I think YouTube creators do a really good job, like the mix of like the people who are in 3D printed space, art space, and they like kind
yeah,
of like
yeah,
show you their process. I think it really makes for this like almost like creator ed tech industry and
yeah,
or
yeah,
not ed tech but like creator education in industry, which is like really cool. And I love the idea, like I just love the feature like of Bubble House of having that Autodesk Fusion for like everything.
yeah.
And like because it is a really nice, I like it as a feature. And I've actually randomly I had this idea in the idea notebook, but I was like one day, I don't know if this is gonna sound like crazy, but I was like, I just want to print out like 3D print a like 6 foot tall tennis racket and like do something with it. And so I started designing it, right? And I was like, oh, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I scale this? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna make tweaks to the tennis racket. What am I gonna? But I started doing it, right? And like, I have my process to it, and it would be really close at the end because like what I'm thinking of doing is I have the parts, I split it into a bunch of parts. I'm getting a modification for my 3D printer, but then I'm going to put the parts all together, make the tennis racket instead of putting like Wilson, put like pictures of friends, family, like companies I'm part of, and just like make that the frame, then like code it. And then I'm going to use like string lights as the wire so it can just like light up and look like a huge tennis
Nice.
racket art installation. And so that was like my vision. But like, I would like to post it somehow and almost I like showing process because
Yeah,
like whenever I get into hobbies. And so like I think this feature is really cool for like those types of things, even
exactly.
like that goes beyond the 3D printing, just design in the software that goes to this is what I used to like connect the pieces together. This is what I used to put a finish. I used this product, then I did this, and it like
Yeah. And
I
even
just
like
love to geek out at those kinds of things. But
yeah, and even like
yeah,
especially for sculptors, like 3D modelers, even visual effects artists, I see like that feature that's here as like super cool and powerful. Like in on Thingiverse, there's like this cool feature where you can like actually view the 3D model. There's like this company that has this like browser engine essentially that like allows you to view the 3D model from the website. And like move it around and zoom in and out and all that stuff. Like having that tool as a portfolio engine for a visual effects artist or a 3D modeler or whatever is like super cool and valuable. And like I think that those people that are trying to showcase that work, they need a better system than like having like a sequence of screenshots, right? Or whatever to show like, hey, this is a cool thing that I made.
yeah,
It's just that like that route is like providing solving a problem and providing that value up front right? And in a way that's like also that can be like a plugin to Squarespace or whatever, right? That then has a monetization strategy of you like pay for the plugin, right? Like,
Yeah.
right, sustainable business that like a creator can stake their claim on. That's like, hey, I'm going to purchase this tool that's going to help me make more money as a creative person, freelancer, entrepreneur, right? Like, I like, and that is just like the mentality I feel like more people need to have as like we move into creator business, like or businesses that support creators and support like this new ecosystem, is like this is B2B, right? You are like,
Yeah.
right, and maybe that's like the, sorry, I'm just like thinking out loud, maybe that's like the inconsistency,
No.
like the cognitive dissonance in my brain is like, this feels like a direct to consumer social media play, and like the cognitive dissonance for me is like, well, that signals kind of to me that maybe you don't understand that like these people are businesses, right? Like, yes, like they're people, they're consumers, but like they're businesses, they're freelancers, they're entrepreneurs, and like they're trying to like like build a life, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's missing from the play here. Like if it was like, here's Bubble House, we're a like really cool like open ecosystem portfolio site, and you can get like a free tier whatever to like showcase a couple of files or whatever, and if you want all of these additional plugins for all of the different file types that you as a like a creative artist work for, you have to pay a pro subscription, right? And but this can be your portfolio. We can do like dynamic domain management, so we could host it on like your own website, whatever. Boom, fucking love that idea, like 10 out of 10. It's just I don't feel like that's what they're doing, and the naming convention and like the social media thing just makes me and the branding of like Instagram killer just makes me feel like that focus is not on creators, but it's on how can we get so annoying to Facebook that they'll buy us, and then we can go work at Facebook for 3 years and get a couple $1,000,000. And that's my cynical view. And again, I don't have all the information. I'm not trying to take down Bubble House. They seem like wonderful people on TikTok. That's just like how I'm just skeptic. I'm just skeptical. But again,
No,
we'd
I think
love to have a conversation, Bubble House people, if you're interested in doing a Spark Spotlight.
yeah, I think that one, the conversation will be really cool, and two, that it is just, I think that's what's really cool about you, honestly, you documenting your whole process, because I think there's still not a lot of I guess credit given to creators in the work they do and treating them like the businesses you said they are.
Yeah.
And it's not even when it's happening, like with like the 776s and stuff like that, it's not seen that way. Like even before when
Yeah,
Dispo,
like,
David
yeah, is that
Dobrik's app, like it was just
776?
like,
Again, it's like the
yeah,
branding, right? The 776
yeah,
messaging is like we're like doubling down on like the creator economy. That like term, I like hate it now. I've been on Twitter for like 4 weeks and everybody's saying that term, and it just like, it's just the economy. It's just the economy. Like, and these the
I'm
creators are
gonna
just,
meme that.
yeah. They're small businesses that aren't small, right?
Yeah,
They're indie entrepreneurs. Like they make products and people buy
yeah,
those products, right? There are
yeah,
weird ways people are purchasing those products. Like, and that's the whole monetization engine. But like, these are businesses, and the
yeah,
less, right now it's like really flashy, like the whole creator economy term, which like I appreciate because it means that more people are interested in this space. And when I tell people that we're building workplace collaboration software for creators, it now is no longer like, that's strange. Like, it's like, this is a hot topic now. It's just that people are not understanding that like, this isn't sexy, right? Like, I don't want the creator economy to continue to be this like hot, sexy, social, make millions of dollars posting on social media. Like, that's not the goal, right? A lot of these people
yeah.
are
They're
making a
just
fucking D&D podcast like with their friends. not a lot of these people. I mean this as a greater example. But like they're making a D&D podcast with their friends. They like
Yeah.
to play. They're entertainers, and they're like making something. It's like being a musician, right? It's
Right.
like I'm
Yeah.
playing shows. I'm trying to build a business. I'm selling merch and CDs, and it's not. For a lot of musicians, it's not sexy and glamorous. You're not a rock star. You're just trying to like do the thing you love and make money doing it. And like
And
that it doesn't have to be. It's like what I feel, what is irking me is that like this intersectionality between like startup culture is happening with like creator business, the creator economy, where it's like everyone needs to be like growing to the moon and like have millions of subscribers and like be making tons of money, and it's just like not right. Like, and I'm not saying that creators shouldn't make a lot of money, right? Like I 10 out of 10 love that for you. It's just that like this is not where I don't want venture capital like and hustle culture and all these things to take over this thing that I love, which is like that artists can get paid. Like that's what the internet
yeah.
does. And yeah, okay, sorry, I'm derailing.
No, I was just gonna say that the whole thing with like your point that it's just the economy is pretty true because it has this like I don't know like almost sticker slapped on to it because it's like associated with like whatever social media, like all these platforms that, and
Mhm.
people don't see it as like the businesses. But funny enough, if you were like, even it's just like from where you go, but like if someone was to create like their little, like a consulting company, they're doing the same stuff as like other creators, but people view that differently. You know what I mean? Like you could
Exactly.
make a consulting company for like video creation and then make videos, but it's like also this idea that people would just associate that group because they have like whatever LLC as like just part of the economy, like right, like
Yeah,
person
exactly.
gets job just as trying to make a living off of whatever it might be, music, making stuff, like whatever their skill set, just ultimately whatever they love to do, they're doing it. But it's and I think for creators it doesn't have that like you said, it's like it's now a buzzword, but I think it became more of a buzzword just because of the social media aspect.
Yeah,
Like
no,
the thing
exactly.
that
And
makes social media so bad is what is like kind of ruining that. And like you've talked about it, like going back to like the quote unquote good old days of like when YouTube was just for creators, people were just showing up to make really cool stuff. You know what I mean? Then
mhm.
it got the buzz, and then
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm not
But
saying
anyways,
that
what were you
like
gonna say? I'm curious.
I'm not saying that like I want to go back to the days when like everyone was making YouTube videos and no one was getting paid. Like that sucked for a lot of people,
Yeah,
right? Like it's just that we've morphed now into this like every creator is a high growth startup. And like that's
yeah,
not good. I don't see that as a good path forward for creators specifically. Because just like how startup entrepreneurs get manipulated into believing that this is like the only path forward for you, which it's not. Um, so like creators can start to like get in their psyche that like if I don't have 2 million, 10 million, whatever, if I'm not a fucking unicorn creator, then I'm not good,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
When in
yeah,
reality you need a like this whole ideology, right, of 1,000 true fans. Like that's you need that. You need like a bunch of people that will show up for you that you get to like play a show to, right? Like you need to be like comfortable that you're going to play at the bar, but you're going to make 60K playing at the 60 70K whatever, like playing at the bar. Like that's great. That's a great life. And like we should be supporting more people to get there. This ties into like an article I put out like or a blog post that I called "The Final Adpocalypse," which was basically about like there's a lot of data coming out that advertising probably doesn't work as well as we think it does in like a huge way. And so basically, what happens when the entire engine that we've built to support the internet dies, is popped, it's big old bubble. And that the reason that all of the VC like culture, all these things is like getting into the creator economy, is because $300 billion was spent last year in it. And so like everything is being morphed to try to grab money, right? But if the bubble pops and like all this chaos happens, the people that are going to get fucked are creators. And like,
Yeah.
if we don't build businesses, if Bubble House is not a sustainable business that other creators can stake their claim on, that like, this is a tool I use to support my business, right? Then everything is fucked. Like, and that's why like I'm worried and skeptical, and like I'm just worried because I feel like a lot of people are going to get hurt if that's like what we're staking our claim on, is the fact that like ads are a sustainable ethical practice, which they're 100% not, and it's becoming more and more clear to everyone. And so when that collapses, either through regulation or it turns out that it actually doesn't work at all, and then like that will be chaos. What's more likely is that it's just regulated, and then you're not allowed to do a lot of the stuff that's causing harm to people, but also making a lot of people a lot of money. Like I imagine like as soon as that happens, and when people realize that like in that ecosystem where there's not $300 billion, there aren't millions of creators, right?
Yeah.
It's like how there will be more than there once was before the internet, right? There will be more filmmakers than before people could post on YouTube, right? Like, it's just there won't be this mentality that like everyone and their brother is going to be a creator on the internet making money from social media, which is like kind of the perversive myth right now. It's going to be like everyone is a freelancer and runs their business and provides services to each other, and like we make stuff, which is just the regular economy. It's just that right now that happens with like a smaller amount of small and medium-sized businesses, and then in the future it's just going to be a lot of individual and sole proprietorships, and small teams. And like that's reality. It's that there's this big myth that it's like this big blow up fucking like market, that I don't buy. And I feel like if people are building products to try to support that, they're going to be wrong, and they're going to build something that isn't good for creators long term. Cool. That was my rant.
No, I was going to say that last point you made. The last point you made, like, put so well what I was trying to get out at the end when I was saying, like, yeah, it's just the normal economy. And this goes back into, I think it was one of our first Lumastic Lives when we were just talking about, like, how you revitalize local economies. Because when it does get, like, when it does get ruined by, like, people thinking, oh, like, this is the next big thing, like, we got to put a bunch of money into it, and then it kind of like leads, if it doesn't foster that sole proprietorship, and so people end up going to like where all the VCs are VCs are at, and I don't think that's gonna be good. Like it would be much better if you just made these platforms for people to run their own businesses, and like you said last week, the 1,000 True Fans, you have 1,000 True Fans who pay you $10 every month. You're doing very well.
Yeah, you're doing super
and that's
well.
all you need. Yeah,
you can have a family, you can support you and a spouse, and like you can go on vacations, like, right? It's the difference between we're trying to get everyone to be fucking rich, and we're trying to get everyone to be able to like live a comfortable life that lets them and enables them to do things that they want to do, right? Like and that's what I mean by there's this now intersectionality that's happening, where like we've been talking about how we're in this point where it's no longer, oh, creators are internet famous, right? They're famous people, and like, oh no, these people are entrepreneurs, And so now that we've pivoted into, oh, these people are entrepreneurs, all the people that are like cash grab money hungry are like, oh, this is a place to be an entrepreneur and like
Yeah.
to build mass wealth. And I just think that if we tie that ecosystem to artists in a way that's, or like kind of manipulate like artists to believe that that's the path forward, it's just going to be bad, and it's not going to be like good for humans. And then we can get in a whole, it's just like, is capitalism good for humans? Like, yeah. And to tie in, to do another plug for the blog that we started this week too. I put out an entire article on platform cooperatives. That is a gospel I'm trying to spread. It's a very new idea. It's a new take on a very old idea, I guess. And I think that more people should think about it, especially people who are trying to start businesses, especially in like the creator and freelancer realm. Yeah, so go read that if you're interested in a new way forward for how we make businesses that promote wealth equality among people instead of a few winners and the monopolization of like people in business. Cool.
Awesome. I think this is great. Yeah, everyone go check out the 3 blogs. I thought they were all great. I read them yesterday when you sent them over. 10 out of 10, as you would say.
10 out of 10. That's another one that we put on the switchboard.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Friends. Well, thanks for spending your morning with us here on Lumastic Live. Joshua, as always, thanks for co-hosting here and guiding me through this conversation, so it's not an hour of me just like randomly talking at a camera.
Of course.
It's invaluable. Chelsea, thank you for popping off in the chat. Think of all the great musicians that are out there that are dormant because they're turned off by current culture. Also, hi. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Chelsea's our person that works at V Design. Also Keith's fiance, lovely human. Yeah, Chelsea, thank you for popping off in the chat and for being one of our 3 concurrent viewers. Hello to the other 2. Cool, Joshua. Thanks for being here. A little housekeeping things here right at the end. One, if you're interested by this conversation and you want to be notified the next time we go live, click subscribe down below and click that bell icon. You all know what to do. It'll send you a notification the next time we go live, which will be next Friday at 9 a.m. Another couple housekeeping things. If you're a creator, a maker, an entrepreneur, you're interested in being kind of a beta tester for this like next iteration of Lumastic, you can go to joinlumastic.com, join.lumastic.com, and type in your email and request access there. That's also where like the blog is and stuff, so very exciting. If you're interested in learning more about Joshua, you could head on over to ripple.com, rppl.com.
.online.
Oh, sorry, .online.
Yeah.
And check out the stuff that he and the team are doing to kind of help people that are coming out of college discover what jobs they are interested in having. So, with that, Joshua, any closing words?
No, I thought this conversation was I thought this one was a really cool one. I liked reviewing Boba House, and yeah, those are my closing.
Yeah. And if you have another platform or something, or you have something you want us to talk about in the next Lumastic Live, you can leave it in a comment down below. Cool. Well, that all being said, Joshua, have a good doctor's appointment. I hope that everything is okay with your rash.
We'll see.
We'll need an update next week.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, friends. Well, goodbye. Enjoy the rest